Today I've come to look at my local beck, which I fish quite regularly, quite a long way upstream, a couple of miles from here. And I've come to look at it lower down. There are very few places where you can access the beck. And this is one of them, the bridge at Leeming. So let's just have a look at it upstream. And that's looking west up towards the A1M and beyond that Bedale. And this is looking downstream from the bridge. It's about 2 miles down there to where it meets the River Swale. Now just downstream from here is a sewage works, Leeming Sewage Works, and I'm just looking at really at the health of the river. And I notice just down here on the left hand side is a stile giving access to the riverbank, although it doesn't seem to be in use for a while. Now, there was a pub in Leeming, which is just up the road here, called the Black Ox. And there used to be a Black Ox angling club who had fishing rights on Bedale Beck in somewhere here. Whether the Black Ox, which is long since gone, it's now I think it's a guest house, whether the Black Ox angling club still exists or who has these fishing rights here, I have no idea, but it would be very interesting to know. Anyway, let's go further downstream. There's one other place where we can actually access the beck and just have a look at it. Well, I've just come down to the bottom of Mill Lane at Leeming, and I haven't been down here for probably 25 years. Last time I came down here, I came across a very ornate footbridge. I'm trying to remember where it was, but I'll go in search of it, see if it's still there. It was odd. It had obviously been renovated, but it led nowhere. It wasn't connected to a public footpath at all. There are no public footpaths down here at all. And behind me you can see the road which used to lead into Leeming Aerodrome. So you went down there, across a bridge and up through those gates, which is the boundary of the aerodrome. I think it was a sort of an emergency access point. There used to be a bridge across here. And that led up into the airbase. There's Bedale Beck. And that's the beck looking downstream. I think it must be a mile away from the confluence with the River Swale. This is a footbridge over Leeming Beck, which I first visited around about 1995, when it was absolutely spanking, having just been renovated. And now the whole thing is just falling to bits, which is a great shame. I mean, it's not on a public footpath. Why it was renovated, I have no idea. Probably part of an exercise. But it leads on to the Ministry of Defence land at Leeming Aerodrome. And there's a little plaque here to tell us all about it. There it says, renovated by 234 Field Squadron Airfield Damage Repair, Royal Engineers Volunteers, Summer Camp, August 1994. Well, it's such a great shame. Some bits missing, and it's got lovely. Anyway, it's really just the footwear which is in a bad state of repair. Oh, it's lovely. It's a shame not much. Nobody knows anything about it, as far as I know. I've never come across anyone else who was aware of it. I mean, asking round. It must have cost a fortune. And for what, one asks. Just look at the steel work. Got a bit missing, but apart from that. And on the end it has that lovely heavy gate. And this is Bedale Beck, looking upstream. And where those trees are there, on that little hill, was a house called Grimscar House, farmhouse, which is at the eastern end of the leaving runway. Zoom in a little bit. I'm standing on this bridge looking at it. And in, I think it was 1942 or 1941, an aircraft from 77 Squadron returning from a fresher operation to Boulogne. I think a fresher operation was crews who were inexperienced. This aircraft went straight through the roof of this farmhouse, taking it right off, and of course the aircrew were all killed. There's a view from upstream looking at the bridge. Notice there's some piles in the water here. That's a relic of the canal era. It's sure they've been here for a hell of a long time. Oh, amazingly, there's still an orchard here of ancient trees from the Grimscar House farm. That's just another view of the site of the farm. I'll just come upstream a little bit further. And you can see the relics of the Bedale Canal venture way back in the 1700s, which failed. Of course, they ran out of money. You can read about that elsewhere. Well, I've just come across this piece of farm machinery in my meanders. It's called a dribble bar. Look at the size of that. And of course it's all worked It's all run using GPS, but so this fits sort of between the tram lines you see on in fields. Very, very accurate. And this dribble sort of dilute slurry as a fertiliser. But modern farming is just something else. Gone are the days of sitting on the back of a car, chucking cow manure all over the field using a grape. There's the whole outfit. I'm just running a test on it using water from the Beck. Well, just coming up stream, Bedale Beck, between Mill Lane and the leaning sewage works. Yeah, wonderful parkland scene. All these ancient trees. Belong to the Londonderry House estate, which was taken over by the RAF. And, it belonged to the Dowager Duchess of Cleveland, who was a member of the Barnard family who lived at Raby Castle. It was a huge estate, thousands of acres, and it was all divided up into lots and sold off. There are remnants of it everywhere. And this wonderful flat field here, with these, as I say, ancient oak trees, and Bedale Beck flowing through them. It'd be a great place to fish this. But who has the fishing rights? There you can see the Beck meandering its way downstream. Through these meadows. Well, I've reached the gate here. We're obviously very close to leaving air base at this point. And the aircraft over there taking off. These Hawk trainers here. I hate to think what it sounds like if one of these more modern F-type Euro fighters are taking off. It must be absolutely deafening. There are some lovely long glides. It's probably about 3 feet deep, maybe more. Probably up to 6 feet deep in places. I think trotting down here, for those who are into trotting, will be amazing. Look at the size of that willow tree there. Go fucking. Anyway, I'll make my way back to the car. I think it's probably 20 minutes walk from here. The other thing is, who has the right bank and how do you get access to it? That's the bank on the other side there. This bank you can access from Mill Lane, but I haven't seen a bridge across to get to the other side. I don't know who has that. This is just a little bit further downstream, going back towards the car. There's a lovely run down there, this big hole on my left hand side. At this time of year, all the nettles are dead, and they're all on the left hand side, funnily enough. I think the right hand side must be grazed, which keeps the nettles down. But once the aircraft have taken off and it's quiet, you could be in the middle of nowhere here. I'll just come back to this parkland bit with the trees, alders, oak. And Bedale Beck meandering its way through it all. Interested to know who has the fishing rights on this opposite bank, on the right bank. And how do you get to it? There used to be a bridge across at the bottom of Mill Lane leading over to the leaving aerodrome, but that's been demolished. Probably rightly so. Great big barriers on either side of it, so you can't get across there now. I go upstream into the sun. It'll be 2:30 this January day. Parkland trees. Swing round, more parkland down there. Yeah, fabulous in this sunshine. And the beck goes down the edge of this field. There's this thing, it's all folded up. And it just winds all the hose up flat. Amazing. Well, nothing remains of Grimscar House as you would expect. It's just a great big mound. But here, it's a hay rake, minus the seat. So I don't know who it was made by. A big lever you pull it there. And behind it is the remains of a substantial orchard. I wonder if it was made by these people, Mattison's, a foundry at Leaming, made all sorts of things as you can see there. It was taken over by Gills, who was still there, but they're just dealing machinery for gardens, like lawnmowers. This is the Leaming River Gauge. Lovely little view there. There's a sea trout. Railing and everything has to be negotiated, but particularly sea trout in the autumn. And there's a little pool here. I'll go in it. It'd be nice to fish that. I don't know who has the fishing rights here. And where this dead tree stands, I've got my back to the beck. You can see my car up there. Grimscar Farm site. Here there was a corn mill. And the mill race used to come across here to the mill and away down there and to rejoin the beck down near that bridge which I've been looking at, which is downstream of here. Obviously it disappeared a long time ago.